I just played through Starcross World, the expansion for Kirby and the Forgotten Land on the Nintendo Switch 2, and it was absolutely incredible. The levels were very well designed, and it was also very visually appealing. But one thing that a lot of people wanted to know is if it was worth $20, and I'll just cut right to the chase. I think it absolutely is, because there is roughly about a third of the content of the base game, even more in some areas. I'm not factoring in the fact that this game also got a performance and resolution enhancement, because while it is a nice upgrade for the Switch 2, that should ideally be a free update. I understand why Nintendo did it, because they wanted to add an incentive for people to buy it, but upgrades like that should be free, because it was free for games like Mario Odyssey. And I'm also not considering this an $80 game, because that's kind of disingenuous. I understand that argument being valid against Mario Kart World, but Switch 2 editions are basically DLC bundled in with the base game, similar to how Mario Kart 8 Deluxe had a bundle that included the Booster Course Pass. But let me get into the reasons why I think this is actually worth it. There are 12 levels in this campaign, which may not seem like a lot, but that's actually a decently good amount in the context of Kirby and the Forgotten Land. The base game has about 30 regular levels, including the ones that are in Forgo Dreams, not including the boss stages, because I'm not including the boss stages in Starcross World as well, meaning that Starcross World has about 40% of the level count, which is actually pretty good for the price. These levels aren't just remixed versions of the ones from the base game, even though it may appear that way. They are essentially entirely new levels that start off in the areas where the existing levels are. And they're also very well designed and a little more challenging than the ones from the base game, so I feel like they're definitely worth it, even though there may not seem like there's a lot here. And each of these stages are also fairly long as well, similar to the base game, taking about 6 to 10 minutes to play through. Most people will also probably have to play through each level twice to get all the collectibles that they missed, which will add even more playtime. This campaign takes about 3 hours to beat, which again, doesn't sound like a lot, but in the context of Kirby and the Forgotten Land, that's not bad. The base game takes about 8 to 10 hours to beat, though this campaign is about a third of that. That 3 hours also doesn't include the 100% completion, so that will likely take an extra 2 to 3 hours for most people, meaning that this is likely about 5 to 6 hours of content in total. Then, that is not even considering the fact that this adds the Ultimate Cup ZEX, honestly kind of a funny name, which is the new boss rush for the Colosseum. The bosses in this new boss rush aren't just simple rehashes of the existing bosses from Ultimate Cup Z, they actually have new attack patterns, some of which are really interesting, and I won't spoil. And since this base game had 3 boss rushes already, one more makes sense, as it's proportional to the price, like a lot of the other things that I've mentioned before. And then finally, this expansion also adds new figurines, adding 85 in total. The figures are really fun to collect, as they add replayability and also provide little bits of lore on each figure. And since there are 256 figures in the base game, 85 in the expansion once again makes it proportional to the price of 1/3 of the base game. So, yeah, most of the content in this expansion makes a lot of sense for the $20 price point. You get a good amount of levels for the price, and everything else is pretty proportional, I would say. I think it kind of evens out with the other content in Kirby and the Forgotten Land. And then finally, I do think there are a few things that would have made this expansion even more worth it. Even though I do think it is worth $20 already, there are a few things that they could have fleshed out more. Like more new bosses, or at least remixed versions of the Beast Pack and the main campaign. I thought there were too few bosses in this campaign, so it would have been nice if there were more of them, because the extra campaign in the base game, Forgo Dreams, did have some remixed bosses, so it would have been nice to see some here as well. And it would have been nice to see more traditional copy abilities as well. The new Mouthful abilities were pretty fun, especially Spring, but It would have been nice if they had some completely new copy abilities that we didn't see in the base game, just to make things feel more fresh. Like maybe add like a couple evolved copy abilities for each of them, and I think that definitely would have added to the content here. It would have made the levels feel even more fresh than they already did. It just would have been nice to see. I also think they should have made it a little more separated from the main campaign to signify its importance. I know they did put like the crystallized parts of the level on the map in the volcano area, but it would have been nice if they added a new section to Waddle Dee Town, like to add like the starries and the crystallized elements in there, like have like a little hub world for that, like add some new features and things. That would have been nice. And an alternate world map would have been cool as well, so it's like more separate from the main campaign. I just think that would have been nice there. But for what there is in Starcross World, I definitely think is worth $20. There definitely is a good amount of content here, and it's exactly what I wanted. More Forgotten Land, and even more challenging levels. So it's just a really fun expansion overall, and I definitely recommend it, especially if you love Forgotten Land. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Blue Sky if you want to. Stay perky!